You have questions? America's #1 business coach has answers. It's your Broda from Minnesota. Here's another edition of Ask Clay Anything on the Thrive Time Business Coach Radio Show.
Yes, and yes, Dr. Z, it is always ecstasy when you are next to me. How was your weekend, my friend? How was the weekend?
My weekend was fun, but the most fun I had was picturing you on that big cruise ship, just wondering what kind of mischief you were getting into and how many stressful situations you encountered.
I have a few highlights.
Because I know you. People tend to stress you.
I have a few highlights that happened that my wife can verify. Okay.
Good.
The first one, we get on the first flight is supposed to leave, I think at like 9 in the morning or something, okay?
Okay.
And I love to be on the first flight out. But in her defense, you can't book it because we had to connect from Dallas to Miami. And so, but the first flight out, I love that flight because it's never delayed. That second flight, though, so you travel enough. You know what I'm talking about. The second flight, that third flight, here we go.
Oh, yeah.
So the flight, they said,
ladies and gentlemen, the flight from Tulsa to Dallas has been delayed with new time. With a departure will be 11 whatever.
So it's like 2 hours. I'm doing the math going, if I leave now, I can get to Dallas. By the time the other flight's going to land, it's almost the same time. But I'm going, no, I need to wait. Because, my wife talked to the front desk ticketing people or something. And then they,
ladies and gentlemen, the flight from Tulsa to Dallas has been delayed. New time, 12 o'clock.
And I'm going, if I wait till then, I can't make the flight. I can't drive there to Dallas in time to get the connecting flight to Miami. I can't.
Correct.
So they said, hey, Mrs. Clark, here's the deal. We have tickets available for you and 3 of your kids, but there's 7 of us traveling. So 2 of your kids can't be on this flight. But you can sit them on a different flight. I'm like, no, I'm not going to separate our kids. So I'm like, we shall just drive to Dallas.
Is that if you did that? Did you pick the ones you really love to go with, or you pick the ones?
No, I'd always pick my favorite one.
Well, sure.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I decided to leave to go down to Dallas. So we go down to Dallas. We're driving. And see, for the listeners out there that don't know, how long should it take to drive from Tulsa to Dallas if you're following the laws that have been established by the various counties and cities around us?
Well, I'd like to preface everything with the fact that's widely known that you are the worst driver in the world.
Worst driver in the world ever, and the slowest. But if you were following the speed limits.
Okay, so saying that now answering your question, I would say that here again, Dallas is a big community. So when you say Dallas, but I would say
to the airport from Tulsa.
Yeah, DFW, right? Not Love, or are you going to Love?
DFW.
Okay,
from the Tulsa airport.
Okay, DFW. That should be 4.5 hours.
I got there in just a hair under 3 hours.
Wow, you were flying.
And I get there.
You get it? You were flying.
Oh, dude. Well, I get there, and I go through their airport, security thing, their TSA stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I get through that, and then then they're shutting the door to the plane.
Uh-oh.
And Vanessa had already talked to him. They said, hey, as long as he gets there, we'll wait a few minutes if we need to. Because I was there on time for wasn't on time for the boarding time, but it was there before they left.
Sure.
Well, I guess they'd already given my tickets away standby or something.
Oh, that's the move.
So now they decide that Vanessa can be on the plane, but we can't. But we can catch the next flight to Miami. Her flight.
Wait a second. Time out.
Yeah.
Did you drop them off and then go park, or how did you get separate from? How did she get on the plane and you didn't?
Because she flew from Tulsa to Dallas.
Oh, I see.
But I did not do this.
Oh, you drove with your non-favorite kids.
With Havana and Aubrey. Yeah.
Okay.
And so we're driving, just jamming out to 80s music, just whoa, 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 just having a good time. And Aubrey didn't like it, but I was having a good time. I just stay awake,
Sure.
So anyway, so we're they say we can't get on the plane. So Vanessa gets on the plane. They go out on the runway and attention
Passengers will be taken off on we are approximately the time of arrival should be.
Something happens.
Ladies and gentlemen, mechanical failure. We're going to
This
need
is your
to.
captain.
So they taxi back in.
I should have drank so much of that cough syrup. Sorry
Unbeknownst to me, Vanessa didn't take off.
Oh, wow.
So now she's scrambling on the airport trying to find me. Anyway, 9 o'clock, we meet up. We discover each other. There she is at the airport.
You do the slow run to each other.
Yeah, and so what happens is we end up, we have audio actually of us meeting at the airport. It's incredible. I see her. She sees me. Slow motion. I'm just like,
You have your little white short
she's
shorts,
like,
your tank top.
Yeah, anyway, so we end up getting to a place where we finally can take off at 9 o'clock at night or something. We get there. We get into Miami around 1 in the morning or something. The ship itself, it's a beautiful ship, Royal Caribbean ship, But I guess that family reunions, it's a big thing for people to have family reunions. And some families are huge. They got hundreds of people.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's hundreds of people wearing like red shirts running around.
Sure.
And there's hundreds of people wearing Miami high school graduation shirts.
Okay.
And they had little themes on their shirts that had curse words on their shirts.
Oh.
Just spelled out,
Well, sure.
So you might say like class of 99, woo! There says, you could say ship, yeah?
Yeah.
But it's kind of like that. But they were clever. And so they had these shirts running around, and it was like a rap video was being shot on the boat. That was half of the audience was the rap video. Correct?
You should have felt right at home.
And the other half was like the rednecks from from the fertile regions of the Coweta boundaries in Oklahoma, and people who had maybe hadn't brushed their teeth. They hadn't brushed their tooth in the last couple decades, and they were on the. It was a beautiful time. Certain smells I discovered. It was a truly incredible time.
Wow.
And, I got a chance to see
Did
a guy.
you pay extra for that?
I saw a guy who was intoxicated laying on the floor in a glass elevator before noon.
Nice.
I mean, well, how
That's
much are
hard
you?
to do.
What time are you starting there, buddy?
Wow.
What's the early? I mean,
I was probably a little hair of the dog from the night before. I would imagine. I mean, I'm
so
guessing.
that was our trip, and then on the way home, we got stuck because some woman said that she was being taken advantage of, and she got taken. So she announces to the flight attendant, she goes, "I've been taken." And stewardess, she's right in
like the movie.
She's
Taken?
seated right behind me, and she puts her hand, hits a little button. Boop! This is we're about ready to take off. We're already pulled out of the runway. She goes,
You're on the runway.
Excuse me, stewardess. I have been taken advantage of. Okay, and I demand as my right to get off this plane. I bought a ticket to St. Louis, and I didn't buy a ticket to Dallas. And they're like, well, ma'am, you bought a ticket to Dallas, and there's a connection to St. Louis. Are you aware it's a connection? You're going to be in St. Louis tonight at 7:30, but it's not a direct. And she goes, I've been taken, and I want to exercise my right.
Sure.
So she just demands to get off the plane. There's 400 people on a 777 who've been waiting all day with a delayed flight. And I don't know what happens, but when I get in small crowds, I start to actually get spasms.
Oh, yeah.
So I get a full-grown back spasm, and thankfully Wendy gave me an ibuprofen or something. But, I mean, I have had some serious, it's great. It's the worst thing ever. But anyway, the kids had a great time. They've now got the chance to discover what it's like to be in a bus station.
Yes.
And at sea. And it was a truly remarkable experience. So that was the summary. My wife told me that after our vacation.
What was the high point? The high water mark?
My favorite moment was when my wife said to me, getting the plane on the way home, she says, after this vacation, I need a vacation.
Your wife said that?
Yeah, she goes, let's not do this for a couple of years. I'm like, yes. Because I hate traveling with such a passion.
There had to be a small part of your brain that enjoyed knowing that all the jackassery of that vacation.
You gave me good material. I mean, I got some good.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I got 50-something sound clips that I'm going to put into a show.
Nice.
That was good.
But then also, that this verified that you are not going to have to be called upon to go on a vacation for quite some time.
The guys who work at the Royal Caribbean are the nicest employees of all time. Great customer service.
Yeah.
Every one of them. I mean, these guys are great people.
And most of the kids are from other countries.
No, they're all working 7 days a week.
Oh, yeah.
Super hard-working people. These guys are gone 9 months at sea, and they're home for 2. Mm-hmm. They're hardworking. Great staff there. Love them. Good people there. Mm-hmm. All my flight attendants on American Airlines were very nice. I can say though, out of the 4 planes we were supposed to leave on, 3 did not take off. 3 of the first 4 for American Airlines, and I always think that's kind of a downer when you.
If you're in the business of
flying from A to B,
yes,
and 3 out of the 4 times that the passenger boards the plane does not take off. I think that's always a little bit of a downer. So, big thumbs up to our good friends at Royal Caribbean.
Yes.
Big thumbs up to you guys. Big thumbs up to American Airlines, the flight attendants. Big mega points for you, but big downward arrow for whatever's going on at American Airlines. It makes you go.
I don't know. So many canceled. And
you
so
fly all the time. How often does it happen? Is it a third? Is it a half?
Unfortunately, when I fly Southwest, it's very, very seldom.
Southwest is I'd say about 95%.
Right. Yeah, about that.
What about American, though?
I mean, it's almost 50-50 anymore. I mean, it's crazy.
Their website, though, it's called AA.com, and their new slogan is, we'll drive you to drink. AA.com. We'll drive you. That's slogan.
That's good. I think it's a great slogan.
A lot of people are like, why are you here? How did you become an alcoholic? I used to travel a lot.
I used to travel a lot.
And American
Switch
Airlines,
over to Delta.
Do you know what they do every time they're delayed?
What?
They give you free drinks.
Oh, well, there you go.
Seriously, the guy was like, "Sir, because I always get a cranberry vodka when I get on a plane.
Oh,
I
know.
2. That's my move. Tito's.
I know.
Every time I get on there, they don't do Sky. They do Tito's. I go in there, I get 2.
And
the guy was like, "Here you go. Give me like a collection." And I'm like, Santa?
Santa?
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, gosh, I've been offered more free alcohol from American Airlines because they always want to make it right. And I'm like, you can keep the alcohol and just get me on time.
Yeah, because I've got to drive home, and now I can't even drive.
So anyway, now that we've got into my vacation, now we're going to ask you anything, Z. So we have Julia
here we go. All right.
is on our staff. Let me tell you about her. She started off on the search engine team over there working at Make Your Life Epic, doing search engine articles for clients. And did a very good job. Accurate, fast-paced, hard-working lady.
Nice.
Her uncle is a former client, good guy. And so we promoted her to be an assistant manager, elephant in the room.
Nice.
Doing a great job there and is en route to being able to coach some one-on-one clients. Doing very well.
Wow.
Julia, how long have you been on the team here?
Going on 4 months.
4 months. Okay.
Wow.
So 4 months in, 120 days in there. What questions do you have for Dr. Z?
Well, I want to preface with, Steve Jobs says he is just as proud of everything that they haven't done or that they've said no to as much as he is that they have. Mm-hmm. So for you have multiple businesses in all kinds of different industries. This is why Thrivers love you. So tell us, how do you know what to say no to, or what kind of filter or gauge, or how do you piece this in your mind?
First of all, if it's not any energy that I started, in other words, if someone's cold calling on me, that's a 99% no. I'm going to say no just because it sounds good.
His default is no, by the way.
Yeah, default is no.
Which, by the way, that is rare, and that is an action item for somebody out there. What you do, and my wife does this. She says, kids first. My wife's very much husband first, kids second. That's what she does. Everything else is so. If anything gets in the way of those things, she'll go, no. What was that again?
Yeah, no.
No. I mean, she's very quick to no. That's a big moment. That's a big change your default to nosy. That's huge.
And a lot of people have an issue with that, but saying no because they feel like, because they look at that other person and they see the disappointment on their face, or they hear it in their voice, or anywhere. I guess you can sense it on a text message or an email, right? And you're just like, oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, I'll do lunch with you next week. I don't want to, but I'm going to. And then you sit there the whole time for lunch going, why did I say yes? Why am I here? And then all of a sudden that leads to the next meeting. The next thing, pretty soon now all of a sudden you've bought something from this person you don't want to buy. And now they're having to come and service it every month. And you're just like, oh, how did I get caught in this trap? Well, you get caught in the trap because, quite frankly, you don't say no. And you need to say no early on. Now, when it's something that I'm driving the energy, when it's something that I need to have done for my benefit, for my business's benefit, for my family's benefit, for whatever benefit I deem worthy, then I am going to be very creative. If I get a no, I'm going to keep at it. And so I'm not saying you're not persevere through a no, but I'm saying if you're not saying enough no's, you're wasting a lot of your time. You're letting other people fill in your calendar, fill in your agenda for the day. So I can see that, and I love that about Steve Jobs when he says, listen, my no is powerful, and what I have not done has led me to all the great things that I have done. Because if you're spread out too much and they've got 100 things on the developmental pipeline, it's hard to really be focused on what's really the next move for Apple. Where do we really want to go as a company? And so, even the CEO, even the boss, you have to be able to say no, even though it may seem like someone's really passionate about it. I ran into a young man the other day. Clay loves this story. And he was here shadowing, doing something. I mean, he was in the room for a reason, and I'm sure he's a fine young man.
Fine young man. Beautiful man.
Yes. And I'm leaving the studio, and I'm headed out to my car, and I get the, hey, Z, Dr. Z. And so, you don't want to be rude, but you always sometimes want to use the phone method, right? You know the phone method?
What's that?
The phone method is when you're going to walk through a gauntlet of people that somebody is going to want your attention. You do the old phone to the ear, right?
Yeah, check that voicemail.
You do the old phone to the ear, and you give them a nod, and you give them a happy smile, but you just keep walking.
Another move that Z does, he's very good at establishing when this meeting has to be over before it starts.
Right?
Which is great. So if you meet someone for coffee
or
for lunch, he'll go, "Hey, I really appreciate y'all. You got me until 4:00. What do you got?"
Yeah, what do you got?
And so
you got my undivided attention right now. Go at your time. But he asked me, this young man asked me, hey, can we do lunch? I just really would like to I mean, basically saying, I really would like for you to hang out with me and get to know you, and you speak into my life, and you seem like such a nice guy, and I mean, I want to, pick me, and I looked at him and I said, what's your name? He said again. I said, well, it's nice to meet you, but no, we're not going to do lunch. Have a nice day, and appreciate you asking, and see you later. And I walked on out, and you would have thought that I taken his puppy and gone outside and ran over it with my car.
Let me tell you something that Z has done
what?
to me that's horrible. This is
no.
terrible. I'm going to keep this audio clip, and then I'm going to give you just a second. I gotta get, you have routinely let me know that you are not a big fan of who I believe to be one of the greatest actors in American history. Wait a second. Let's think about this. We have Jerry Seinfeld now. It has recently been disclosed. He's now worth over $900 million for syndicating his material. Now, approaching him and that net worth is Adam Sandler and his deal with Netflix. Now, I'm going to keep this audio, and you can please, after I play it, I'd like for you to explain to me why you always say no whenever I'm like, hey, you want to get together and watch Sandler movies? Because it's always a quick no, but I just want to explain to you what about this incredible acting you could possibly, because it's almost hard to tell, is this Mel Gibson or is this Adam Sandler? Let me cue it up real quick.
Means to aggression. Now, is there anyone here that can tell me why most alligators are abnormally aggressive?
I know the answer to this question. Raise your hand.
Anybody? Anyone? Yes or you, sir?
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Why do you not want to watch this movie? What an incredible movie, Waterboy, an incredible movie. Incredible film, really. It's more of a film. You don't call it a movie, it's a film.
I would rather take a hammer out and bludgeon my left elbow.
Why?
Because it's nonsensical. It's not even funny. I mean, it's like, I got so past that in junior high school. It's
okay.
Let me
cue up one more.
Let me tell you something funny.
Let me keep one more scene. Now, this one is where Adam Sandler, from the movie Billy Madison, he walks in on his girlfriend.
Oh, no.
And he believes that she's having an affair with the penguin. Now, we all know from the movie Billy Madison, which I've only seen like 50 times, that Billy Madison drinks alcohol to a point where he starts to see an imaginary penguin that sings "Strangers in the Night" by Frank Sinatra.
Okay.
So it's doobie doobie doo. Do 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 do. Here's the scene. As we explained to me, what part of this is not good to you? Because this right here, I mean, a movie is like, it's a little movie, it's a little, But we begin to call things a film when they touch the soul in a way. This scene touches mine. Here we go. Let me cue it up. Here we go.
I see what's going on in here. So sorry to interrupt.
Z, what part of that do you not like? I mean, think about the beginning, the end. Was it the plot? Was it the character development? I mean, what part?
When you have true love, why would you want to interrupt that? See, that's the thing. It's just mean. I mean, it's just mean. She's sitting there having obviously a wonderful time with said penguin, and he just comes in, and party's over. Adam's there. Party's over. Go on about your way, and that's just mean.
Is there any Adam Sandler movie you like?
Before I say. No, I don't think there is. Number one, but I don't think I've seen them now.
Unbelievable!
I know.
You really owe it to yourself.
So why'd you bring that up?
I saw him live in concert, and it's impressive.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it was.
No, seriously, you would not have liked it, I don't think. But I'm just saying, the point is that you don't feel like you need to pretend that you agree with me just to be copacetic. You're not mean about it. You're like, I just don't like it.
Yeah, it's.
And if I press more, over time you'll get more. You'll cite the facts or the reasons.
Sure.
But it's a formula. He's a formula actor. Come on.
He has a formula, the same formula. It's just over and over and over. So
okay, Julie, what other questions do you have for him about what he says no to, or any question at all? Any question at all? You have the floor.
Yeah, I have one more question for you. Okay. So you seem to be a very calm guy. Just you go for it. I like that. But I have a question. How do you avoid overthinking every potential liability that will occur, or procedures, rules, constantly changing laws? Just how do you avoid overthinking that to the point that it's going to sacrifice you business and growth?
Well, that's a great question, and I think so many people. If I could get rid of one thing in the world, Ooh, this is a deep question.
Not Adam Sandler.
No, Adam.
We love Adam.
I'm sure he's a great guy.
No, he's a great guy.
He's
great
a great
actor
guy.
too. Great actor.
Adam wouldn't go that far.
Mel Gibson.
The one thing that I could get rid of would be fear. And I think that with all the things that can go wrong in life, I choose not to spend any of my mental runway on worrying about those things. That's why you have insurance. That's why you have attorneys. That's why I have several of the people in my life that are in accounting and
You're not. You don't get scared. You don't worry.
No.
Okay, let's.
No, but let me wrap that up a little bit. But you say you can't just throw caution to the wind. But I have people that worry about that stuff so much, it frees me up from having to worry about it. And they'll learn. It may be a learning process for them to say, hey, listen, it's now come to the level I need to tell Z about, right? In other words, let's say someone gets a slip and fall in one of my businesses. Boom. It happens, right?
It does happen.
Do I stay up the night before thinking, oh, my Lord, what happens if someone slips and falls and hurts themselves in the business? Do I have enough insurance? What are they going to do? They're going to sue me. How's that going to look? What's going to happen? Oh, my gosh. What am I going to do? Oh, my gosh. It's going to happen. I know. It's just, oh.
Real quick, that what you're doing, though, your ability to do that, I know in my life, it really, really irritates most people around me because most people are controlled by fear, and I care not.
Right, exactly.
But that really bothers. A lot of people are like, dude, how could you not? I remember with the DJ company, we had a company opened up, several of our former employees offered the same packages. And like, how could you not be worried? I'm like, I'm going to be worried I'm going to take massive action. But I'm not going to sit there and, because what does that do?
Nothing.
But people, I think it bothers people when you say you're not worried. It really does.
It does. But the thing about it is now that it happens, and then it goes another step or two down the road, sometimes I don't even get involved in it. Just, you call your workman's comp insurance. They do all the things. Then all of a sudden, this guy doesn't like what he's hearing, and he's an employee of one of the people that do business with you. And so now all of a sudden, you get a letter from an attorney. Now all of a sudden you get, it goes to the next level. And so at some point I get pulled into it. And more times than not, I'm like, okay, what employees saw what happened? So now I'm interviewing 5 employees, right? Have you written any of this down? No, we weren't told to write it down. I'm like, okay, Eric, my HR guy, come on, get in here. You need to write down what you saw, sign it, date it, because, with this thing 2 months from now or whatever, or whenever this has to finally, you have to tell your story, sometimes you get a little foggy on what happened. And so you don't want to document. You want to make sure you're buttoned up on your side. You want to make sure that all your policies and procedures are right and they're being followed. And then, here again, you still don't worry about it. You still turn it over to your legal team. You turn it over to your workman's comp attorneys. You turn it over to the people that you pay to worry about this, or you pay to deal with it, I should say. So to me, it's rather easy. It's kind of like, why do you want to worry about things?
What about when people have screwed you over in business? Okay, so you work on a deal, somebody screws you over. How do you keep yourself out of the emotional cobwebs of trying to repair something that cannot be fixed? Because I see a lot of people where you have to fire somebody because they're bad at their job.
Right.
And then they're now offended or hurt because they're your cousin, your neighbor, your former best friend, your neighbor, your cousin. There's someone's cousin, someone's neighbor, someone's friend. Everyone's related somehow, you know what I mean? And then you hear them saying bad things about you. How do you move on? How do you just move on? How do you do it?
You take a deep breath and you move on. I like to think of things that are like positive in my life and things that are fun for me to think about. I mean, sometimes getting control of your thoughts and having your hands wrapped around your own brain and having, it's sad to me when I hear people talk about, I just can't not think about that. It's almost like a loop in their brain that they just can't break through that cycle. And it's tough. You see some people, the misery of that torment on them of something that they're either worried about that's going to happen or that they're in the middle of and they're thinking it could be a worst case scenario. I could lose it all. This could be horrible. And they're just caught up in that. And it affects them physically, affects them emotionally, affects their business. I think one of the strongest things that you have to understand is that you can only really show that your team You can really only show them how to really respond to things that might cause other people fear, and really show them that you, on the outside, especially on the outside, that you are not going to let that affect you or affect the business. You're going to go forward. And yeah, it may have to cause for some changes in policies or procedures that you're doing in your business because you want to make sure you're buttoned up, everything's correct. But on the long term, by having that no fear and having that push through and having that where you demonstrate that to your staff, hey, this is okay. We're going to get through this. This isn't a debilitating thing. It's going to be all right. We've got these people over here working on it, and they're professionals in that, and they're going to take care of it. You guys continue to do your job and not let that one bad thing, dictate your month-long activity. I mean, how is that you get 10 great reviews, you get one-star review, and that's the one that you lay there in bed, sitting there going, I can't believe they did that to me. I mean, we gave them even a free free cleaner for their glasses.
And I think when people know that you freak out, I think what they do is they try to make you freak out more.
Oh, yeah.
So like Mr. Anderson, I think I've shared this story before on the show, but Mr. Anderson in Minnesota, what happened is they called it outcome-based education, and there's this new holistic approach to education when I was in school.
Yeah.
And they made you take archery classes and swimming classes. You had to do choir and band and all these various things in Minnesota. And the teacher, his name was Mr. Anderson. And Mr. Anderson was a guy who had the ability to deal with emotional situations about 1 inch thick skin, or maybe 1/10 of an inch thick skin, like very, like just maybe 1/10 of 1/10 of one. I mean, he was just 1/100th of an inch thick skin. See, this guy was like a brittle. You could break this man by doing anything.
By just looking at him wrong.
Well, what we would do is myself and a guy named Jeff, we would kind of be the ringleaders. But I go,
shocking.
Here's the deal.
Shocking.
At like 10:10, we all need to start coughing. There's like 200 guys. We're all going to start coughing. Now, here's the deal. You'll start in the front row. It'll move its way to the back. It's like a wave, and we cannot stop. And it needs to get more and more violent. It needs to get where it's like it's crazy. Like we're wheezing, and we have to get into it. And the more he gets upset, the more we press on until he throws something. And then when he does, we all just start freaking out.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's like, and then one by one, each guy starts, and then he's like, guys, seriously, stop. And then he's like, are you kidding me? And it was just, he'd freak out every time.
Oh, yeah.
So then we're like, oh, that's so good.
That's so good.
Because he would like freak out. He'd walk out of class. So the next day we're like, when he starts talking, I want one of you guys to climb around the back of the class when he's taking attendance. He won't see you because it's a big auditorium. Turn the lights off when he starts talking.
Uh-oh.
Just turn them off.
Just turn them off.
Dark room.
Dark
and
room.
We're all going to scream, start throwing things.
Yeah. Oh,
and the guys are like, are you going to do it? I'm like, we're all going to do it.
We're going to do
we're all
it.
ready to go. So he started class. All right, guys, today we're going to start singing Shenandoah. It's a new song. It's from the yada yada period.
Shenandoah.
And all of a sudden, lights out. Ah! And we're all just screaming, going nuts, and he'd be like, who turned on that? And he just he was crazy.
Crazy.
His shirt would be untucked. Somehow like his shirt would be untucked. He's got a large man. His shirt would be untucked. He'd be sweating.
We call that a short fuse.
No, and it was like a deal where we loved it.
Oh, yeah.
We loved it. And so we would just, and I think if you're out there and you're a business owner and you're kind of brittle, we all have a certain high water mark. Because what advice would you have for somebody who's kind of a little bit brittle, quick to fire off the cannon right now, short fuse? How can they elongate that fuse and not freak out?
Two things. One, what I'd like for you to do is summon up all the pride in your body and set it down into a box and light it on fire. Get rid of it all.
All that pride?
All that pride. Number two, whenever you feel that bone in your body, the offensive, the bone in your body that gets, I'm offended, whenever you need to surgically have that removed.
The amygdala.
Yeah, is that it?
Yeah.
That's not a bone. That's a region of the brain. But you can have that removed too.
Is there a bone that controls? Okay, we'll continue.
No, there's not.
Let's get it. From this point forward, the science is no longer relevant.
The science is. The point is don't be offended. I mean, everybody this day and age, you wake up in the morning, they're like, hey, I wonder how many times I'm going to be offended today. I mean, because that's the move, right?
I was on the cruise, and there was a group of people telling white jokes, like just loud white jokes, and I actually think they're kind of funny.
Sure.
Because they're based on some element of truth.
Sure.
So, I think I could have been offended. I probably could have. But there was like really, because they had like, dance parties on the boat and stuff. And there was a group of people who had just a ton of white jokes. Like in a row, like people have Chuck Norris jokes.
Oh, sure.
Just in a row of them. And I mean, and again, if you're listening right now and you're a redneck jokes are kind of funny because they're based on reality.
Yes, there is
Someone
some,
has a bus parked on their yard. You know this to be true.
You know this.
You know this.
You've been on that bus.
You've been on the bus. You've seen this.
You've had a cold
You gotta
beverage of your
calm down.
choice on
Don't
that
get
said bus.
offended. You
Don't
gotta
be
move-
offended. I tell you what, just do not be offended. I love the line one time I forget who it was we were interviewing. He said his line was, "Well, I'm offended that you're offended." That was his line.
See, I have an audio clip of a bus driver that was easy to offend here. Let me cue this up here, and let me get this queued up
Throw
here.
your sandwich at the bus driver. Do it, come on.
Hey, who threw that?
See, when you get that kind of reaction, don't you almost have to throw something else? See?
Sometimes you do, but
Here we go.
This bus around. That'll end your precious little field trip pretty quick, huh?
don't throw the sandwich if you want to go on the field trip.
Here we go.
Hey, I'm trying to score points with a teacher today.
Unbelievable. But I'm just saying, we've all seen that scene. Chris Farley's freaking out. But you see, I mean, you just don't want to be that person.
You don't want to be that person, and you want to be slow, very slow to anger. And I know that's easy to say, and particularly in this day and age.
Don't freak out!
We've got so many things out there that are kind of pulling and pushing and prodding on us, and we're under a lot of stress, which is really, we got to get something done in a certain amount of time. We're busy, and someone cuts you off, someone does this. I mean, you can just feel your blood pressure rising, and you get the red in your face, and you're just ready to. It's a fight and fight or flight. I'm going to fight.
No.
But just take a deep breath and realize it's going to be okay, and forgive yourself for being mad when you shouldn't have been. Forgive them for making you mad, and just learn to go through life with this thing of where you're going to think about it and be calm.
Be calm
and not be all worked up about something.
Do you have the call? If people call with 918-460, that's the official office number, right? 918-460 461 918-461-2020. It's home with a $99. You got your first pair of glasses, your exam.
Yep.
$99. You go 918-461-2020. And do you still take calls where you? Because I think I have audio of you doing a therapy session with a Thriver recently.
Yes.
Can I cue that up here?
Oh, absolutely.
We had a Thriver who's stressed out. They called the helpline.
Yes.
918-461-2020.
I love doing this.
They asked for Robert to get through. To get through the front desk, you usually just ask for Robert. You're in.
Bob.
You asked for Bobby, and this was your last therapy session with a Thriver. Good.
Perfect.
Great audio.
A lot of pressure. You got to rise above it. You got to harness in the good energy. Block out the bad. Harness, energy, block, bad. Feel the flow happy. Feel it. It's circular. It's like a carousel. You pay the quarter, you get on the horse. It goes up and down and around. Circular, circle. With the music, the flow. All good things.
All good things.
All good things, baby.
Now, Z, we're going to ask Julie. Julie, do you have any final question for Dr. Z before we give Wendy the mic?
Let's give Wendy the mic.
Oh, Wendy's going to have the mic. Now, Wendy, a little commercial for Wendy.
Coming in hot.
Wendy has been working faithfully with Elephant in the Room for a couple years and did a really, really good job at the store level managing a store. And see, that means she has about 1,200 members she has to manage.
Wow.
And she's managing all the employees and all the stylists. And she has expressed an interest of wanting to move beyond a manager level and to eventually consult with clients. And so she has begun the path. She's learning the search engine moves because you can't teach it if you can't do it.
Come on now.
Wendy, welcome onto the Thrive Time Show. How are you?
I am fantastic. It's great to be here. Thank you.
All right. So, Wendy, what questions do you have for Dr. Robert H. Zellner and Associates?
All right. So now that you have so much that you've accomplished, I know you have so many businesses that you're partners with Clay and on your own, and they're all successful. They're all doing great. What is your next goal? What else do you want to do?
Wow, that's a hot question. See, we don't get that question asked very much.
Well, no, I've got a few businesses that are queued up. I'll tell you off air what they are, but
Okay.
they're in the what I call NQ. I just opened up some new businesses 2 months ago, and got the second location opened up. And
Doing very well.
And that has some vertical integration. I'm going to continue to kind of work in that. But then I've also got the next one lined up, and quite possibly the next one after that lined up.
Okay, so you're just going to continue to grow and develop more businesses instead of saying, okay, I've hit a point, I'm done, I've had enough, and now I'm going to go live on a Jamaican island somewhere.
Fun for him.
Oh, no, I want to do both. I want to go start a new business and hang out on a Jamaican island.
Okay.
I mean, they're not, and that's the thing about, they're not, they're not, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not
I would say not mutually exclusive ideas.
Okay, there we go.
I'm going to say this. I mean, if I had to do this, is my. Let me give you a Z 1.0 notable quotable from your head.
Okay.
We'll stamp this as the first 10 years of business.
Okay.
And then I'll do Z 2.0 next 10 years. Now Z 3.0. My opinion.
Okay.
So first Z 1.0 was I think Z did whatever it took. That's 1.0. So what? 7 days a week for how many years, buddy?
Couple 3.
Yeah, 7 days a week, working 7 days a week. That's like whatever it takes. And Z, I believe 2.0 was I'm going to do whatever it takes, but I am also going to have fun when I get in the end zone. I think that was probably 4 or 5 years into the business. You very intentional about having fun and doing whatever it took, right? I mean,
Correct.
doing that. And I think Z 3.0 is Z wants to have a blasty blast first and win at the same time. They're not mutually exclusive at all anymore. I think you have. I think now you've got to a place where it's almost funny to you. These certain things that would make a young Dr. Zellner potentially upset. You know, the crazy things that happen in business. I think now it's almost funny to you. I think it's like a comedy. You look at it from a different level now. Don't you think? I mean, I think you've learned how to delegate and elevate, and it's almost like funny now.
I mean, you're right. I mean, a problem that, it's like I tell people the analogy. I love analogies. It's like when you have a 2 or 3 year old daughter and she can't find her favorite Barbie doll or her favorite doll. And the world is ending as we know it for her.
Been there, done that, got
Yes.
the T-shirt.
There you go. And so then it's so funny because that's her perspective. And no matter what you tell her, no matter what you do, short of producing said doll immediately to her, because you as a parent know everything, right? You're omnipotent when it comes, especially to the household. And then what's so funny is no matter what you can do, that's the meltdown's going to happen, and the world is ending as we know it. And then you tack on a few years. It's amazing. Then all of a sudden it's like, remember when you had that tantrum about couldn't find your Barbie? And they're like, yeah, that's so silly. You know, our perspective changes as we get older, and we understand that that's not that big a deal. You know what? The world didn't end. And I found something else to play with, and life did go on. So it's just that perspective of life and going through. And I guess for me, even though I'm 54, you know, it's kind of like I feel like I've been through so many of these kind of experiences in life.
As an example, an employee tries to extort money from you. Like as an example, Z has had multiple times where somebody knows they're in a crisis situation where they're short-staffed, and they will approach you with a demand for a ridiculous raise at the very moment when you need them to do their job.
Oh, absolutely.
It happens a lot, though. It's a move.
They smell weakness.
They say, hey, look, man, Z's one manager short, so I'm going to go in there and I'm going to pretend like I'll say, hey, I got another opportunity. Now, if I could double my wage or go by 40% or some crazy number, they know you can't make money at that level. They're going to say, I have to leave. All the time. You've seen it's like a move now. You've seen the move.
I know the move. I know it's coming.
And how do you handle that move? What's your move to handle the move?
I smile real big and I say, well, absolutely. You know,
Yes.
I'm thinking about giving you a raise. You know, the shark only attacks the fish that's bleeding. You do know that, right? I mean, so when you're bleeding, you can't go around and say, why is the shark trying to bite my rear end? Because that's what they do. So I smile and go, oh, you bet, and you want that better schedule? Well, I don't know why you're working on Saturdays either. Come on now. Well, you bet. You get your pay raise. You get your new schedule. Anything else I can do for you? Okay, let's hug this thing out.
Hug it out.
And then
hug it out. If you get a hug out, watch out.
Oh, watch out now. And then I go promptly and hire somebody to replace that person. And until they're hired and trained and ready to go, then I don't fire said earlier person.
So you have somebody working for you that you might not like for a week or 2 or a month or so?
And you know why?
Why?
Because I don't want to get down there and do the work that I'm paying them to do.
That's what you do.
That's my choice. I could.
But a younger you might have let him go because you were mad.
Oh, yeah.
And then you'd be working
you throw
7 days a week.
punch them, you wrestle them, you get them down.
See, that's a move you had to teach me. I'm like, you are literally having someone who works for you right now that makes you crazy. You've told them about it. You're not blindsiding them. You've told them it bothers you.
Oh, yeah.
But now you're going to literally give someone that you can't stand a raise?
Absolutely.
2 weeks before you fire them?
Absolutely.
It's impressive.
Well, because here's the super move. It's your business. You get to make the decisions. You're the one that gets to decide whether they stay or leave. So you smile and you go, you know what? 2 weeks ago when you came in and made those ridiculous demands that I said yes to. Yeah, but you said yes to them. I said, well, you bet I did because I wanted to keep you around for these 2 weeks. But that day, I fired you.
And you are a great poker player. You're a great poker player.
I wouldn't go as far as great.
Very good. If you did it,
below
if you
average.
do it, what's the best card game? What's the card game you're the best at?
The one that I'm best at?
Yeah.
Probably, I don't know, Hold'em or...
Could you win if you played enough? Like if you play long enough, are you going to win more than half the time?
I believe I'm.
You have a poker face.
I have a poker. I don't know if it's a very good poker face, but I have a poker face. Yes.
But you could win more often than not if you play long enough.
Yes, I'm going to help you with your story. Yes,
when you
I'm
play
a great
cards,
poker
do
player.
you normally come out ahead?
I always win. I never lose.
No, I mean I know you. I know. But I'm saying when you go to Vegas, do you usually come out ahead or break even?
It would depend. I mean, when you're playing poker, that's a whole different kind of mindset. And a lot of times I like tournaments, which are a big win, or it's either all or nothing kind of thing. So, so when I play like in a tournament,
your poker face is incredible.
Thank you. You smell great today, by the way.
You look like you smell great.
I mean,
I
can't
smell you from where I'm sitting, but I wish I could.
I can't believe that you survived the cruise ship. I'm just glad you did.
As am I. Now, Wendy, what other questions do you have for Dr. Robert Zellner?
Did we answer your question, by the way?
You did.
Okay, good.
You did,
okay,
absolutely.
Here we go.
Okay, fantastic. So the other question that I have is that there anything that you were ever approached about business-wise that you said no to that later on either became successful or you looked back and you said, gosh, I really should have done that?
Yeah. About 30 years ago, a guy by the name of Gates called me up and wanted me to know.
Bill Gates.
Yeah. He wanted me to come to his garage and help him with this electronic thing that he was working on. I was like, that sounds stupid. No way. Get out of here. No, I'm thinking back on that, and I get
real estate.
I get Shark Tanked a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, there was probably some real estate deals that I could have or should have done back before when like downtown was blowing up. I had a buddy that had a building down there, and it was almost like you were just buying it for the land itself at the time.
Crazy low prices, dude.
Crazy low prices back in the day. And I probably should have played in that arena a little bit, bought and sat on them for a hot minute, and then gone in and cleaned them up and done something with them. So I look back at some commercial real estate that I had. Anytime you're investing your money, you're building an asset, that's a good thing. So many people invest their money in things that don't appreciate or they don't become an asset. Right. And
commercial
so
real estate's a tough deal because you're going to buy that property downtown. Some of that property was being sold. After they bought it for the price of the land, but the upkeep, the maintenance, the taxes, and it did not turn around for what, like a decade? I mean, 7 years. I mean, that's a long play.
It is a long play, but you look back on it and you say, something that now downtown is blowing up and doing great, and those buildings are going for a premium, and people are coming in and tearing them down or gutting them and doing all kinds of crazy cool things with them. And so, then you look back on it now you're paying the rate that everybody's paying for them. But, if you'd had that foresight to buy them and sit on them for a little bit, But I would say that I've been Shark Tanked quite a few times on businesses, and there have been a few of them that people have gone on as a general thumb and done well with. But I don't look back on those and go, gosh, I wish I was more invested in that. Anymore, when people approach me with the business idea, usually the deal killer for me is that I can't control it. And I don't want to invest in something that I'm just not a venture capitalist to go around and say, oh, here's your money. Yeah, I get an extra point or two above what the bank would get because the bank has the cheapest money in town. And here's some money for you to go do your dream and good luck and hope you do well.
Z's very wise. I say wise. It's like he knows the right decisions to make. So I think it could be a burden to watch somebody make mistakes because most people learn through mistakes. Or mentors.
Right.
And most people, for whatever reason, we prefer to learn from mistakes. I think so when you watch a young man or young woman just making endless mistakes at your expense, you're kind of like...
It blows... It just makes one of... Yeah,
because you can't control it.
Right, I can't control it.
So if you're out there and you're thinking about having Z invest in something, I'm just trying to tell you, he's doesn't lose, but it's because you can make those decisions. And so that's why that's the difference between you and a venture capitalist. A venture capitalist just throws money at an entrepreneur and says, hopefully it works out.
Yeah. Go get him.
Go get them, buddy.
Go get them, Tiger.
And venture capitalists, even the most successful firms like Sequoia, they talk about how they invest in 10 businesses and they hope that one of them makes it. That's their business strategy.
Right, exactly.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
But that's how they make all their money. It only takes one Facebook to make it all back.
Or book a face or something
book
like that.
Book of the face.
Book of the face.
Now, Z, I want to have Andrew an opportunity to ask you a question because he's got a lot of great clients he works with, and he's a young man who's does the coding. He does the coaching. He does ad management. He just does a lot. He's got a lot of clients, and obviously not all of them could be here on today's show. But, Andrew, what's a question that you think that your clients would love to ask Z, or maybe questions you've been asked today that you think would be a great question to ask Dr. Z?
Absolutely. So I actually have a client right now who is actually going to meet with someone who would be a potential investor in the company.
Okay.
He's trying to figure out if it's a good move to go for the investment or to wait, grind it out, or look for more of a bank, more of a loan, as opposed to selling, 15% of the company to the investor. He's known this guy for probably about 8 months. But he's worked with someone who's known him basically all his life, and they have a good connection. So he's trying to figure out, should he invest, or should he take on an investor? Should he just wait, grind it out, or should he look more towards like a bank?
The wait, grind it out is number one choice. Number two choice is the bank. Number three choice is the investor.
This just in. You said number one choice.
Grind it out.
Grind it out. Number two choice.
Bank.
Number three.
Investor.
Why?
This last business that I was asked about just a little bit ago, that I just started a couple months ago, I had about a year ago when I was formulating it, maybe 6 to 8 months ago, I couldn't tell you the exact amount. I had a dinner with some folks that wanted to invest. And they were going to buy 10% of the business for a certain amount of money.
Yep.
And so they had the money, and they were brought to me by somebody else on the team. And said, "Hey, listen, I know you're thinking about, raising all this money, and here's some folks that want to play with us, want to buy." So I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I'll have dinner with them, or I'll visit with them. So I met with them, and neat couple, and they had some resources, some money, and the 10%, the amount. So we kind of got through all that, and okay, and then all dinner long, I was probably asked, I don't know, 100 questions, and some of them were kind of almost to the point of almost like silly,
right?
Like, so are you going to have a landline phone? Yeah, we are. Well, have you got that figured out yet? Well, no, we'll get that figured out as we get closer. Oh, well, that's okay. I mean, all these silly little questions about micro. I just felt like this micromanaging thing was kind of cloud was coming on top of me, and how often do we get the numbers, and how often do we get reporting, and can we come in and can we help with that? Can we verify that? By the time they're asking for dessert, I was asking for a gun. I was going to shoot them or myself.
Pay them to go away.
I said, "Thank you for dinner. You just confirmed the fact that I'm not going to have any investors in this business. Have a wonderful life. Thank you for your time," and left. So I think what the investors do is that, particularly with someone who's not very savvy in business, Andrew, what happens is that
they're a weight.
They are a weight, and they're also just so annoying.
Just stop it.
I mean, you just want to say, "Listen, I got this. Just trust me. We're doing what we need to do, and here's the reasons why." And they still aren't happy.
Yeah.
They're still not happy with that.
Because there's three things that come with the investors. There's the 3 C's.
Here's the 3 C's.
You get the connections. Whether you like them or not, all their buddies now somehow have a way into your life.
And they all want a discount. They all want
show up
this,
at your
they want all
office.
that.
The connections. Then the counsel. They're like, go watch one episode of Shark Tank and read one chapter of one self-help book, and now they come in with life advice for you.
Oh, yeah. They're going to life coach
and then you have
up.
the cash, which it's better just to get money from a bank if you can.
Yeah, so that's why number 2 choice was the bank. And if you can get money from a bank, that's always the best.
Right.
And they're going to be very professional about it.
Yeah.
They're not going to call you every other day going,
"How are your sales today? What's going on? What are you going to do? I mean, what are you going to do? Would you hire that person? You fired this person? I sent my cousin in, and you said you're not going to hire him. Why is that? What's going on with it?
But they're going to be, hey, we need the P&L statements. We need quarterly. We need whatever they set up as your base that you need to provide them.
Right.
And then it's all business. And then you provide them with that, and that's good. That's what you should be doing anyway. And then the grinding out's the best. That's the most rewarding, because that is right there when you have to. It's kind of like the poker analogy over here that Clay was talking about earlier about the poker face. Poker
face.
When you get short stacked, we don't have as many chips. Your decision making gets heightened, and is this hand? Am I all in on this hand? I mean, am I going to go to war on this hand? Is this So your thinking process. When you get a whole lot of chips, you do a lot of lazy calls, a lazy this, lazy that. But when you're kind of short stacked, you're a little. And so I think when you're in the grind, you're, if you will, in the business, you're short stacked, if you will. And so, hey, where you're buying paper and how much is important. You know, are you providing bottled water for every one of your employees 24/7? They drink 2 sips out of it and leave it on the counter, which drives me crazy. Well, by the way. So in other words, you kind of make more decisions based upon that you don't have a fat account in a bank sitting there just waiting for you to blow through some cash.
Yeah.
Right. You know.
Yeah.
I think it keeps you leaner, it keeps you meaner, and it keeps you more on track with your business. I really do.
Yeah.
And so that grinding it out is very rewarding. Plus, that also implies that you're having to give it more. You know, you're having to be in there. You're having to, I don't just have a bank back account. I'm going to hire a manager and go to Jamaica. Right? I mean, that's a choice.
People want to do.
Right.
Yep.
And so, you know, you're the manager and you have to get in there and grind it down. When you finally build it up and it ramps off and you're multiple locations, you're franchising, you got it busy, you've got it, you know, a bunch of employees, you've got it dialed in, your procedures, your protocol, and now all of a sudden you can go, you know what, now I can step away a little bit at a time and not have to be in the grind of it. So that's why that's always my first choice. Bank money, cheap money, second choice, and investors at a distant third. Especially if it's your Uncle Carl.
It's related, yeah.
When it's an Uncle Carl, run.
See, we had a Thriver out here who writes, he says, what are your thoughts about business plans? Obviously, you don't need a formal business plan to buy a lawnmower and cut grass. I wanted to know your thoughts on this. What I did to make your life easy, Z, is I broke down from the book called Pitching Hacks, written by Naval Ravikant, the founder of AngelList. Naval has distilled the How to Make a Business Plan into 13 steps. I'm putting a link to it so you guys can download the book for free, the PDF, and I'm going to read off the 13 points, and then Z, you can fire off why.
Okay.
If you're going to pitch somebody, why do you want to have a cover on there that has like a logo and a tagline? Why should the cover of it at least look professional?
Well, because it exudes, it shows that you are a professional. I don't know how many people look at a logo, look at branding, and make up their mind right then and there. They look at the front page or the first half of the front page of a website and determine whether or not this is some hokey deal or not, or it's really legit. You know what's funny? It's kind of like with our Thrive Time, business umbrella that we do here. How many people have called us over the years, and now I guess 4 years we've been doing this, and say, "Are you guys really legit? Are you guys really?" Are you
Dude, you know what's crazy? If you're out there listening right now, I want to help you help me on this. I've had Julia answers the phone call, so she probably deals with it more than I do at this point. Abby does as well. People will ask that all the time. Are you guys legit? And I always tell them, just come to Tulsa, book a ticket to the conference. Listen, I promise you, I'll upsell you nothing. And if you leave us a review on what you've heard so far on the show, I'll give you a ticket for $37. Just come here.
$37.
So a lot of people. We've had people from Canada. We had people from Florida. We've had Australia. We've had California.
Guam. I remember Guam.
I've had people come here on like a Wednesday or a Thursday, and they'll just go to our companies, trolling out, getting a haircut.
Oh yeah.
Trolling around at Regent
new
Bank
pair of Ray-Bans,
if the bank you invested in is real.
Yeah.
They're over there looking for, somebody's trolling out when they're looking for durable medical equipment supplies off the street. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So, but they'll go spy on they want to know if you're real. If the companies are real. And then once they know that we're real, it changes the conversation. But that cover, do not be rejected. Don't allow your book to be rejected by the cover. Now, move number 2. You got to have a quick summary, Z, an elevator pitch, 1 page or less. What's this thing? Why do you have to have a quick summary if you're going to pitch to a wealthy person?
Get to the point.
Come on, baby.
Get to the point.
Come on now.
How are we going to make money with this? That's
Get to
the bottom
point.
line.
See, people don't want to get to the point. They want to ramble on and on and
No,
on.
no,
Preach
no.
the good news.
You
about
can't
getting to
ramble.
the point.
You can't ramble.
Why?
I'll tell you what. You may say, my cover of my book is not important because it's what matters on the inside. But I tell you what, in life, every book, whether you like it or not, is judged by the cover.
Preach.
So you got to have a good cover.
Oh.
And then on that first page, you got to get to the point. You can't dilly-dally around.
Got to get to that point.
You got to just, how are we going to make money?
How are we going to make that money?
How are we going to continue to make money?
How are we going to continue to make that money?
And what are we going to do with that money?
Write that down. Somebody should write that down.
That's good stuff.
Why don't you slap 3 friends?
Good stuff.
All right, slap 3 friends. Okay, so Z, summary. Now the team, point 3. Why do you want to list on your pitch deck, your business plan, who's on your team? Why do you want to list the specific people's names?
Here's the deal. It's so important, the people you have gathered around you. I tell you this right now, Andrew, I could say, hey, what are the 5 friends that are closest to you, that are around you the most, that they have total access into your life, and that will define you as a person.
True.
So, and the business, the people you have gathered on your team are going to help define that business. And when you've got rock stars and studs on there, I guess you have rock stars and you can make good music and whatnot.
Yeah. Why is Daryl drunk?
We can't detail the carpet. We can sing about it.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
hey, man.
But the better quality team you have on there, and you don't just talk about their credentials, you talk about their a little bio, a little quick, who they are and why they're on your team, and that is very powerful because now all of a sudden the person looks at it and goes, "Oh, wow, that's cool. You got a CPA on your team? That's impressive."
The 12 variables you got to have here. So 1, you got the cover.
Yep.
2, the summary.
Yep.
3, the team.
Yep.
4, why do you have to explain the problem? See, the actual problem that you're solving. Why is that so important?
Because here's the deal: if there's no problem to solve, then you're just kind of having fun with some product. You have to find it. The more intense and the more life-changing that problem is, the more likely you are you're going to have those emotional buys. You're going to have that rocket.
Have I told you about the power washer?
Explosion of business.
Have I told you about the power washer?
No, you haven't told me.
There was a guy who called. When people were on the outside of the website, I kind of envisioned them knocking on the door, and then we opened the door, and I don't really know what to expect, and you probably don't know what to expect. Hopefully you know what to expect about us because you've read reviews, you've looked online, you've looked at photos, you've looked at videos.
Sure.
But this guy opens the door. One of our sales associates picks up the phone, talks to this guy for about a half hour.
Wow.
And Eric and I did the call together. It was beautiful. And I listened to the calls. I always listen to the calls to make sure we're on the same page. And this guy has a power washing business.
Okay.
And this is his model. He knocks on your door. Hey, hi. Is the owner of the home here? Is he gonna play?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Now imagine this actually happened at your house. Okay.
Okay.
I was in the area power washing some houses, and typically we charge $300 to power wash a house or whatever the number was. It was $300. But if you'll prepay for the year, we'll do it for half off. So today you'd be walking out, you'd be looking at $900. $900 up front to prepay for your power washing for the year, or 100 or be 1,250 times 12, so it'd be 1,200. He had it kind of polished, but it'd be like $1,600.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's like it's normally $300 per power wash, but we'll do it 12 times a year. If you prepay, it's $1,500. Now this guy, every person he talked to said no. Now, can you please? You've never met this man. You don't know the story. Maybe he still listens to the show. Can you please explain why door knocking on the homes of wealthy people and asking someone you just met to prepay $1,500 for a monthly power washing is the reverse of a no-brainer? Can you please explain why he had 0 sales in years?
I know why he had 0 sales.
Why?
Because everybody saw him as a scam artist.
Right.
And nobody wanted to prepay for house cleaning or house power washing.
I talked to the guy and I said, so you're telling me the biggest issue you have, I said, have you power washed in the past? He goes, yeah. People pay me like $300 one time. And it's always like a one-time deal. And people don't ever call me but like twice a year. And I'm like, so what do you want to do? He says, I want to do automated recurred revenue like your elephant in the room where it's recurred revenue. So what I want to do is I want it to where they pay up front and it's a monthly thing. And
you could only get that after you get the golden look. He has it backwards. He's making the ask before he gives the presentation.
So he said, hey, is the owner there? Hi, I'm actually a power washer, and I was power washing your neighbor's house, and we do our first power washing for $1. Would you be okay if I power washed your home for $1?
There you go.
And then after I power washed your home, I show you, do a little quick inspection, take 5-10 minutes. Are you happy, Dr. Zellner, with the service?
Absolutely. You did a great job, buddy.
Well, hey, if you want us to, how many times a year do you power wash your house? Once a year, twice? How often do you power wash?
No, you don't do it then. You don't do it then even. No. You don't
Come
do
on
it.
now.
You don't
Prepay.
do it then.
Come on. We have one availability. Okay.
No, yeah. Act now.
I'm going to go talk to my manager because we have one availability.
I tell you what.
I'll see if
I think we're sold out.
Where did he get it wrong right there?
I like you.
Why can't you move in that close? Where we get it wrong right
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. Know what you do is you book them for their next power cleaning.
Oh, you book the next one.
You book the next power cleaning.
book it.
Okay. You book it. You say, listen, a house this size, a house this whatever. I mean, let's get you booked. We're booking up, and I come into this neighborhood. We're doing. I don't know what does he recommend every 2 months, once a month. I don't even know. What is a power?
We never got that
house?
far because he would not be willing to do the first service at any discount at all.
Yeah, that's wrong.
He said the first service should be like $450 as opposed to $300 if you're not going to sign up for his program.
Yeah. Or the other move is,
what are you talking about?
The other move is just power wash a portion of the house and let them see what you can do.
I'm saying this guy
Half the driveway.
And whenever you have someone that's that emotional and that poor, I'm like, hey, I care, but I just have to know. Are you coachable at this point? I mean,
Are you at all?
You've been power washing for a decade, right? Yeah. And you're telling me in years no one's ever done it. He's like, that's why I'm calling you. I need help with my branding. Frack. And Eric and I were like, whoa.
Yeah,
I mean, you just got to move on.
You do.
got to move on.
You do, but I mean, the moves are the moves. And the moves you've got to get the golden look. And the golden look is when that homeowner says, yes, power wash my house.
Oh, come on.
And you need to do whatever you need to do to get that yes. And then once you get that and you show them that you're a rock star power washer.
Yes.
And that you do a good job, you could be trustworthy. Now you book the next one.
Money back guarantee.
And then at that point, you could talk about when they talk about how much is it. So then the next move is, you see, so then they go, well, how much is it? Well, we got a couple of different options. We got a couple options.
We recommend.
You can pay as you go.
Okay.
It's 3 bills.
Yeah, $300.
3 Hyundais.
A lot of people
three
like
small Korean
we find a lot of
cars,
customers like
3
to save
Hyundais.
money by prepaying a little discount.
Yeah. Or, we can prepay. We've got 2 packages. We've got the 6-month package.
Yeah, the premium package.
Or we have the royal
package.
The royal homeowner package,
the
I call
package.
it.
This is the royal flush.
We don't.
No.
There's a limited number of these.
Limited. We have only 30 spots.
And you prepay for the year, but you get it almost.
We can't power wash
practically
everyone's
free.
house in Oklahoma.
I mean, we can't do.
Or
I'm limited. I'm limited to how many I can do on this royal homeowners. And then you give them the options. And now all of a sudden they see you've done a great job.
There it is.
You built a rapport with them. And now all of a sudden they'll be like, well, let's try it one more month. And, So, and is it really bad that you're booking and you're making $300 instead of $150?
So perfect. So the business plan, okay. Step 4, you list the problem. Step 5, you list the solution, which we just talked about. Step 6, you talk about the technology you're going to use. Okay. Step 7, you talk about the marketing you're going to use. Step 8, the sales system you're going to use. 8, the sales conversion system you're going to use. 9, the competition, who's out there competing with you. If you don't know, by the way, that's a problem.
Yeah, it's a problem.
10, the milestones you want to hit to give the investors a return. 11, there's a conclusion like, okay, in summary, this is what I'm asking for. And then 12, the financing, how you're going to structure the deal. And as soon as you define that and you give that to an investor and he invests, get ready for it to change immediately. But this is like the way I would look at a business plan is it's like, I'm going to drive from Oklahoma to Minnesota. I know my destination. I know I put it in my GPS, but there's going to be traffic cones on the way.
Sure.
You don't be a moron where you're like, well, my plan said to stay on Highway 12 going westbound from. Now, I know that there was a gaping hole in the highway, but I went for it.
I'm sure.
I mean, you got to detour. I mean, you got to make these pivots. And I see a lot of entrepreneurs who are like, my business plan stated that this is what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to change it because this is what I wrote on paper.
It's all fun and games to get punched in the nose, right? Right.
Oh.
But the thing about it, I think what a business plan does is it's so beautiful in that it forces a person to sit down and actually write down.
Come on.
What it is they're actually thinking in their brain. Because when you write it down, you really read it, or you have your buddy read it, or you have your friend read it, or
and
a
your
baker
buddy's
read
like,
it.
Bro, how high were you when you wrote this?
Bro.
Like, no, I don't was sober. Bro. I was completely sober. What do you mean? Like, this doesn't make sense. Furthermore, like you were changing fonts. Have you read your own words?
Right. And really, do you think that the problem is that there's not enough chocolate chips and chocolate chip cookies?
Let me tell you one time Z shut me down. Let me tell you, he shut me down. He shut me. You shut me down like the Shawshank Redemption. Shut. It was a shh sound. Like a door from Star Wars. No. I did a ton of wedding bookings with DJ Connection.
Yes.
The largest entertainment company in the region, perhaps in the country. Some had said it was like 4,000 weddings a year. And I was like, I'm going to open my own wedding chapel.
Why wouldn't you?
And
seems like a great idea.
I remember you going, hey, how many referrals do you get from other wedding chapels? And I was like, a lot. You're like, do you think any wedding chapel is going to refer you once they know you're competing? Probably not.
Okay.
And it's going to cost you $1 million to build it, maybe $2 million. I think it was at the time it was like $2.5 million.
Oh yeah, you had it swanky.
You're going to spend it's called the Palazzo.
It was an Italian themed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, you're going to drop $2.5 million on a house that will then cut off your referral lines.
Mm-hmm. You think about this.
And I'm like, but I'm passionate. And you're like, I love you, bro, but I got a piece out. I got a piece. I'm gonna get some.
Well, I mean, double downing on this whole wedding industry. I mean, I know there's a lot of emotions there, and it's one of those things you probably can overcharge most brides because they just want it perfect. They want their
hey, come on! You paid for your weddings. Was it $50 a plate at Golf Club of Oklahoma? Is it $50 a plate?
I purged that out of my memory.
Is it $50 a plate?
Ignorance is bliss.
Isn't it $50?
I don't even. You know what?
There's people that you barely know who invite a date who you don't know And it's $100 $100
To
right
this
there.
day,
$100.
I don't know how much I spent
You
on the
don't
pool in
wanna
my
know.
backyard, and I don't want to know.
100. But
I
it's
don't
at
want
least,
to know.
At least $100 for somebody you barely know, who brought someone you don't know, who then said, "Can I bring a friend?" Because they're also from Michigan.
Sure.
Because I was at your daughter's wedding. There's some great people there, but you know and I know there are people that you don't know who are there.
Well, of course.
That's how it works.
That's how it works.
That's what a wedding is. A wedding is let's get together.
It's a free place to go and scam food and cake.
Let's all, for some reason, return to the old English times where we handwrite things with calligraphy. We're dropping, what, $20 an invitation? Nobody even checks their mail anymore. And it's like, dearest,
I think I just threw
good
up on my mouth.
Lord Andrew and Manna, we would like to invite you to this hallowed
Cordially.
occasion at
Your
the Golf Club of
presence
Oak.
is requested.
Please checketh chicken or beef.
Please.
The bequeath would like to. You're like, what words are these words? What do you say, bequeath? What the crap does that mean? You're like looking this up. You're going, what's the old English version of? I mean, it's crazy.
Oh, it's crazy.
And again, all I'm saying is that Z cared enough to go, nope. But see, you got to get out there and pitch that thing. Once you have the business plan, you got to pitch that thing. And when you get feedback, ask the person who says no, why? And each time it gets more and more refined. And then I found out after Z rejected me, I thought, you know what? I can vertically integrate. I can buy a party rental company because I don't get referrals from party rental companies because the brides book the party rentals after the disc jockey. They get the ring, they get the gown, they get the cake. Then they go out there and they book the DJ. Then they get the party rentals as an afterthought. I should get that company. And it saved me a lot of money, made me a lot of money. I bought chocolate fountains. I bought margarita machines, dance floors. It made a lot of sense. But if you would have said, sure, let's build a wedding chapel, I would have cut off all of my referral lines.
And maybe not all of them. And
A lot of
them. You might have. And then, you work those wedding conferences and whatnot, a little bit different.
Yeah.
But, you could be a one-stop shop. But still, it's one of those things where it's... at the time, the money that you had to put into it, it wasn't like, hey, I've got a house here, I've got a venue in my backyard I'm going to start using and kind of, have an option for somebody. I mean, you were going to build some $2.5 million, mega wedding chapel.
And I had the financing approved, and I was ready to go. I was like,
wow.
Yeah, because, the banks want to lend you money if they know you always pay off your bills.
Yes.
See, they don't care if it's a profitable thing. They're like, as long as you're going to pay us back, you
you
that.
got enough cash flow over here in this business, so even if it sucks,
They're like,
you can still make the payment.
So at a certain point, a wedding man or a banker could be like your hype man.
Oh, sure.
They're like, oh, this is a good move.
Sure.
This right here, because it's real estate.
Right.
It's an asset.
Oh, yeah.
You were called. I won't say that I know, but I feel like you were called to do this. And you're like, oh, the banker who I just met told me who makes a commission feels like I was called.
Oh, yeah.
I got to do this.
I got to do it.
So, Z, I got one final question for the Palazzo. It should have been so. The Palazzo. Okay, so I got one final question. This is from a gentleman who asked to remain anonymous. He's a doctor, though, Z.
Okay.
And you doctors, you doctors are a unique type.
Yeah.
You've been to school for a long time.
We can be a little squirrely.
You're smart guys. So your questions tend to be smart. However, they could be too smart. So this is the question. He says he wants to provide a cash-based medical service for patients who donate to a specific charity. So if a patient donates a certain amount to a specific charity, I guess then he will treat them at a discount maybe. It says, I want to provide a cash-based medical service for patients who donate to a specific charity. Specifically, I want to direct the profit to a charity, but need them to pay for the cost of goods. Can I ask the patient to donate a specific amount to the charity, then pay me for the costs, or do I need to just collect the full amount and donate the profit through my company? Z, does that make any sense?
Choice B. I mean, it's just crazy. You have passions out there, and you have organizations, and you have 501c3 companies that you feel great about, and you want to help them. Don't try to sell. If you're a doctor, sell being a doctor, but don't try to sell the fact that, you want to help orphans in Zimbabwe, which is a great thing to do. But don't make that to where I'm only going to see patients that want to help orphans in Zimbabwe. I mean, that's really limiting your potential patient list. And if you feel strongly about orphans in Zimbabwe, God bless you. Make a bunch of money on patients that whether they care about orphans or not, or even they care about Zimbabwe, or they even know where Zimbabwe is. And then once you make a fat amount of cash, you can go fly to Zimbabwe and say, hey, orphans, here's some money. And you can help them because that's your heart. Don't try to get your. Here's the thing: your business is your car, is your tool
There we go.
for you to make money. Now,
Here we
once
go.
you make money, you do with it. You be a good steward of it. You do with that money what you feel like you need to do with that money. But don't try to sell your business. Don't sell what you want to do with the money that you're going to make off your business. So that's an easy answer. Charge them said fees. If you want to tell them, hey, listen, if they want to feel good about it, it's a move anymore with this social media stuff right now with these young kids. It's a move right now to let them know that you have some social aspect of your business. In other words, you're saying, hey, I'm going to help. My big thing is.
Are you still donating to Z's travel fund?
Yes, I am. It's a worthy fund. If anybody out there wants
it's
to, wants
funded.
to
One
donate
optometrist
to
there
that,
has been able to go to Vegas. He's been able to go to South America. I think. Not you, but the other optometrist. He's been able to go to Florida.
All over.
One optometrist has done very well this year, and it's for as little as what? Is it $1,000 a day? You can support your very own
you could sponsor,
traveling optometrist.
Yes, exactly.
For $1,000 a day. That's all we're asking. You'll feel good about it too.
And you might partner up with a buddy, and he wants you to do 500 each, and that's okay too.
He doesn't go on Facebook.
No.
He might post on LinkedIn occasionally, but usually you won't even see what you're getting. But it's not about seeing that. It's knowing
you've
happy.
done the right thing, right?
Right.
So my point is, yes, have a charity, have something in your heart that you want to, use your hard-earned money to make the world a better place. Do that, but don't make that reliant. Don't make your business reliant on people that also feel that way, because that's not what business is about. Business is not about trying to find, people that want to help, orphans in Zimbabwe and everybody else you don't care about. You're not going to give your services to. Give your services to everybody. And then, those that find out that you do it with that, you might find a little tribe or some people that are interested in that, or someone wants
a tribe in Zimbabwe. That's what you
Zimbabwe,
tribe.
But just do it like that. And I get this from my favorite CEO of all time, Jack Welch.
Jack Welch.
Whose picture's behind me, so I always like to kind of give him a little
Let me
point.
cue up my Jack Welch music.
Whoa. Jackie. Big J, as I sometimes call him, or JW if we're having a happy hour beverage, if you know what I mean.
Oh, waiter, Jack and I will be having beverages here.
Jack wants a Jack.
I'll be paying.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be paying because I get the privilege of hanging out with J-Deb.
Okay, I'm sorry to make it awkward.
And he had some employees approach him and said, hey, listen, we need to make a light bulb that's green. And he goes, okay, tell me about that. I go,
that's a good idea.
We've got the design. Give me a...
Oh.
Thank you. We've got the design. We know what it's going to cost, but it's going to be 10 times the cost of a regular light bulb, but it's going to be green, and therefore we'll make the world a better place by selling this light bulb.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
And CEO Jack Welch says something to the effect of, that's foolish. We'll go out of business because no one wants to pay 10 times more for a light bulb, and they want to flip a switch and have a light come on. So what we're going to do is we're going to sell a lot of these over here at the regular light bulbs. And then all the money we make, what you could do with your portion of your profit that you make off of it, you could go and help make the world a greener place.
Now, somebody said, though, but Z, let's try to sell the ones that are 10 times as much. And I have audio of you because you didn't want Jack to lose his voice.
Yeah.
So you hopped in and you educated the confused
Oh, you got
GE
that
employees.
recorded?
I got that recorded.
Oh, wow, okay.
This is from really the early,
I didn't
it's
know
kind of later
you were there.
80s. You would have been at that age, late 80s. How old were you, 89?
I was in my late 20s.
You're late 20s. So this could have been you. Then again, it could not have been. I don't know. I mean, I just know that I was 9. The San Francisco Giants were playing.
I know you record a lot of things around the world.
They were playing, and I got this audio.
Now, you kids are probably saying to yourselves, hey, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get the world by the tail and wrap it around and pull it down and put it in my pocket. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're probably going to find out as you go out there that you're not going to amount to jack squat.
That was kind of intense. It was kind of an earlier
that was
you.
Intense, yeah.
That was before you
1.0.
learned how to not fire off the cannon shots. But the kids got the message.
They sure did.
I'll tell you that. They got the message.
Whoa, hey.
And GE made it, and they made a profit.
They made a lot of profit.
There we go.
You increased the busining by 4,000 with the idea of what's best for the business. And then what you do is you don't get the emotional, social thing that you want to do with the profit tied up in the business. Have your business, make your money, and then go take your money. And if you want to do whatever you want to do with it, do what you want to do with it.
Z, I appreciate you letting us interrogate you today, my friend. You had some great answers to some great questions.
Yeah, they were all great questions.
I'm gonna
so
have to
I really
go back
appreciate
and
them.
edit the show a little bit, take out a few choice words. You know, it's a few. I think Adam Sandler clips. I said a few. I gotta do some editing.
That's not
here.
surprising that you're having to edit Adam Sandler out of the show. That's not surprising at all, by the way. It just goes
Adam
into
Sandler,
my
great
narrative.
American poet.
It just goes into my narrative of what I was saying earlier. So,
what makes Adam Sandler, in your mind, better than Mel Gibson?
Less Adam Sandler.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, we want to end every show with a boom. So I tried to bait him into it there. I
saw that, yeah.
It didn't work.
It didn't work.
Quick. He's a quick one.
How'd that work out for you?
All right, here we go.
Okay, here we go.
3, 2, 1,
boom.